He once made 4 interceptions in one game, and he's tied for the third most interceptions in Tiger Cats history. He also led the CFL's East Division in points scored 4 times, won a college national championship, and won more than a fistful of Grey Cup rings as a player and coach. This is the Fifth Quarter Show Legends, and I'm your host, Rick Zamprin. Welcome back, everyone who's been following this series since it started after the Grey Cup last November, and hello to all the new viewers who are checking it out for the first time. Please consider subscribing for more great content. Now, before we learn about today's legend, I want to share more details about the live free agency show that I have planned for the night of Tuesday, February 11th. As you probably know, the CFL's free agency communication window opened February 2nd. It closes on the 9th, and free agency itself officially begins on the 11th. The Ticats and a few other teams have been busy signing pending free agents and re-signing some of their would-be free agents as well. So on February 11th, the Fifth Quarter Show Free Agency Spotlight is going to go live on this channel from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can join me here as we share our thoughts on what the Ticats have done this offseason and what you think remains on the to-do list. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. In episode 12 of the Fifth Quarter Show Legends, I am highlighting the great Don Sutherin. Born February 29th, 1936, Donald Paul Sutherin grew up in Empire, Ohio, with his older sisters Wanda and June and a younger brother named Kenneth. Don started playing football in grade 6 and continued to do so at Toronto High School in Ohio. He enrolled in Ohio State University in 1954 and played as a defensive back and kicker under legendary head coach Woody Hayes, who guided the Buckeyes to 5 national championships. And Sutherin was instrumental in one of those title games. In fact, it was his last college football game, January 1st, 1958, with Ohio State facing Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Sutherin kicked the game-winning 34-yard field goal late in the fourth quarter to give the Buckeyes a 10-7 win. Sutherin was only one of 3 players from that team to be drafted by an NFL team when he was taken by the New York Giants in the 8th round, 94th overall in 1958. But the Giants loaned Sutherin to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and in 6 games that year, Sutherin recorded 22 kickoffs, made 1 interception, caught 3 passes for 22 yards, and rushed 23 times for 62 yards and a touchdown. Sutherin returned to the Giants in 1959 and suited up for 2 games before the 5'10", 193-pound DB and kicker joined the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he appeared in 10 games over 2 seasons and made 1 interception, recovered a fumble, returned 12 punts and 11 kickoffs, and missed his only field goal attempt in the National Football League. Sutherin returned to Hamilton in 1960 and appeared in 1 game, kicking 2 field goals and a convert. The following year, the 25-year-old began to make a significant impact. In 1961, Sutherin played in 14 games, booted 10 field goals and 35 converts, had 3 carries for 10 yards, 1 catch for 52, completed his 2 pass attempts for 15 yards, averaged more than 42 yards on his 15 punts, and 59 yards on kickoffs and punts. And in addition to all that, the rookie dazzled on defense. Sutherin made a career-high 11 interceptions, a new team record, and it stands as the 3rd most in team history. His defensive prowess was highlighted by a CFL record 4 interceptions in 1 game on September 11th, 1961 against Edmonton. Over the next 5 seasons, Sutherin hauled in 22 more interceptions, while still returning punts and handling field goals and kickoffs, helping the Ticats win the Grey Cup in 1963 and 1965. But following the 1966 season, Sutherin was traded to Edmonton in a package deal that brought receiver Tommy Joe Coffey to Hamilton. But Sutherin refused to report to the Eskimos, claiming he had business in Hamilton. He was later traded by Edmonton to Ottawa just before the start of the 1967 season. Sutherin played 3 years in Ottawa, where he made 19 interceptions, including 10 in 1969 at the age of 33, and won the Grey Cup with the Rough Riders in 68 and 69. He wrapped up his playing career in 1970 with Toronto, where in just 5 games, Sutherin made 4 interceptions and returned 1 for a touchdown. When he retired, Sutherin held 18 CFL records, and he still has the 6th most interceptions of all time with 58. Sutherin returned to Ohio to coach and teach high school, but by 1981, he he was back in the CFL as a defensive line coach and then defensive coordinator in Ottawa. He became Edmonton's defensive backs coach in 1985, joined the Montreal Machine of the World League of American Football in 1991, and was back in the CFL, this time in Calgary in 1992 and 1993. In 1994, nearly 30 years after he last played for the Ticats, Studsy was back in Hamilton, only this time as a first-time head coach. Operating on a shoestring budget, Sutherin's Ticats never had a winning record in his 4 years at the helm, going 20-34, including 0-2 in the playoffs. After the 97 season, he stayed on as defensive coordinator under new head coach Ron Lancaster and went to back-to-back Grey Cups, winning in 1999. He remained a coach with the Cats until 2002, capping a 32-year career in the league as a player and a coach. A three-time All-Canadian defensive back who was an avid hunter and fisherman, was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1992 and was added to the Ticats Wall of Honor in 2008. He passed away on January 11th, 2022 at the age of 85. Don Sutherin, who played and coached in 16 Grey Cups and won 7 of them, is a true legend. Thanks for watching episode 12 of Legends. Another Ticats icon is going to be profiled next week. Click on that notification bell so you don't miss when Seasons drops next week as well as the free agency spotlight. Looking forward to that on February the 11th from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, Oski Wee Wee.